URC round number 15, Ospreys and Sharks, was an unusual game. The Ospreys get the win, 21 points to 17. Clearly means a lot to the Ospreys players and fans at the Brewery Field to get this win over the Sharks. Mathematically, I think both sides are still alive in terms of their shot at the top 8, although it's a tough ask for both. Both sides really need a bonus point going into this one, a bonus point win, but neither got that. But the Sharks, so much possession, so much territory, so many knock-ons. And Mike Adamson, the ref, as soon as I rolled out of bed at 6:45 and saw he was refereeing, I was like, hey, anything could happen here. He was sorry. I feel a little bit sorry for him sometimes, but not all the time. Unusual game. Unusual game. We'll go through some of the key events and stats. You guys can let us know your thoughts. The story of the first kind of 10 minutes is the story of the game in a way, because the Sharks had a heap of pressure, a heap of chances, no points, and then the Ospreys scored on their first chance. Sharks were putting in a few too many contestable kicks for my liking. The Ospreys contested one well, took it, and then put a little chip of their own. Hopkins was able to grab it, the fullback, and then some nice hands, bam, bam, bam. Dan Edwards round the left wing. Try time Ospreys, good conversion. 7 points to 0. Happy days for the Ospreys. You've had no ball, but you've scored the first points. The Sharks did hit back. It was only like 7 minutes later between the tries. So Buthelezi from a massive Sharks maul kind of shared left. They missed the conversion. And missed conversions are the difference in this game. But yeah, it was a good counter from the Sharks after missing so many early chances. But the Ospreys just continued to live off scraps. They had no ball. They did get one of the very few line breaks of the first half from turnover ball, but they couldn't convert, although they did get their next chance because they were finally down the right end of the field. Jack Morgan got a maul try of their own. So there's 6 tries in this game. 3 of them come from mauls. Jack Morgan, who gets man of the match, he gets that one. They won a penalty at the scrum, went for the touchline, line out maul, drive goes over, and sideline conversion from Dan Edwards is a cracker. So 14 points to 5. The Sharks, again, were looking to try and steamroll the Ospreys guys. You got the likes of Morgan Morris winning a penalty at the breakdown to keep the Ospreys guys' defensive effort up. But the try they conceded before halftime, the Ospreys, was like after such a big defensive shift, it was a kind of weird one because it's just scrappy ball at the breakdown. It kind of bobbles out. It was it Chituka that grabbed it? Then Ethan Hooker. Ethan Hooker was away. Streaked half the field and scored a try. So bizarre because, as I said, the Ospreys had been defending so well, and then they finally had some ball, and it is that attack flipped on its head which sees the Sharks score. The thing I don't like about this one is the fact that Luke Morgan had a bit of a grub move where he just kind of flopped on top of Ethan Hooker as he was scoring, which is supposed to be penalisable, but nothing came of it. And he injured himself, so he didn't come back in the second half. If I was a Sharks fan, I'd be pretty mad about that because it's a grub move. The guy was scoring the try all day long. You just drop on top of him. That shouldn't be happening without being penalised. So it's 14-12 at halftime. 2-point game. Sharks have had more possession, 56%, more territory, 53%, more turnovers conceded, 10-5. That's a concern. The line breaks is 2 apiece, but 302 run meters to 172. I guess a lot of those Sharks ones, because they're almost double, were from the Ethan Hooker line break at the end. As I said, he doesn't come back in the second half. Mapimpi comes on for him. And then Leroux Milan has to go off for an HIA. So the back line for the Sharks, certainly a bit affected by injuries. The Ospreys continue to win penalties at scrum time, but it's all Sharks. Like all the phases, all the pressure, final pass into touch. If you're a Sharks fan, are you banging your head against the wall at this point? Like having another glass of Clippies and Coke? Because, man, you needed it. You would need it. They did score, the Ospreys, the next try, which was genuinely, I think, pretty bonkers. Because the Sharks, one of the few times they were down their own end, were passing it in their own 22. One of the times when they're not kicking it. And that man Cassende was able to intercept the pass, shows a bit of footwork, a bit of pace, and pops it to Garen Phillips, the big prop, who's not long off the bench, to make it 21-12. That's the final scoring of the game for the Ospreys. They've had not that much going on in the second half, but 1 shot, 1 kill. It's a try. Then Vincent Koch and Oxen Che comes on, and guess what? The scrum suddenly turns around. the Ospreys guys are getting obliterated at scrum time. The Sharks are able to go for touch, maul, and very, very close in the corner was Smith for the Sharks, but he ended up knocking it on. I think it was Kieran Hardy with the tackle. That's another kind of clear-cut try chance which was blown. And then funnily enough, after 62 minutes, the Ospreys scrum gets obliterated again. They have a prop go off injured, so we have to go to uncontested scrums. And this is where the I'm sorry comes from Mike Adamson, because they have to figure out how many guys are going on. Now, I know there's a table on World Rugby's website which tells you how many guys will remain on the field. And there's 36 potential outcomes on that table. Without looking at the table, I thought that the Ospreys will go down one man because of uncontested scrums, not two, because two is only if there's been foul play. If there's a card, yellow or red, then you'll be likely down to 13. That was just my memory of it. I'm not a professional rugby referee. But Adamson's kind of adamant. I don't know if it's him or he's getting it in his ear that they're going to go down to 13. But there's a long stop. It's just a long break. It's comically long as the officials and the teams try to work out who needs to come on. Ross Moriarty comes on and goes back off, and Adamson saying you got to go down to 13. Eventually, they come to the conclusion that, yes, you need to go down to 14 players, not 13, but you need to have 8 men in the scrum, and all the guys who are, front row players need to be on that are available. So they come to the right conclusion in the end. Just takes a long time to get there. 36 outcomes is like typical rugby laws being more complicated than they need to be, I figure. And I don't blame the refs for not knowing that, but the TMO or somebody who has the ability to look up the table should be the one telling the ref how many players need to be on the field. The guy on the field's got enough going on. Someone off the field can quickly check. Did the first guy go off for contact? Did the second guy go off for an HIA? Here's what you do. Job done. That should be the team effort from the officials. It takes a long time. We go down to uncontested scrums. That works for the Ospreys, funnily enough, because as I said, their scrum since the big Springboks props came on had taken a bit of a turn. But, we do get the game back going. 15v14. They have a big old overlap. It's an extra man out wide. They knock it on, the Sharks. It is a golden opportunity, absolutely missed. And then the one time we see a TMO intervention in this game, it's for a bit of nothing handbags at the breakdown. It's a dumb one. It was a corner rail, unnecessary. But of all the things that you could call in the TMO for, I wouldn't have thought that was a massive one. Not really worth stopping the game for. But hey, sometimes people make decisions. So, yeah, the game goes on. Buthelezi on 68 minutes did get the Sharks' third try to get them back within touching distance. The Ospreys had gone offside. Touch, maul, try, again, clutch conversion, not hit. So the Sharks need to finish the game with a score, which they will not get. They're not helped by the fact that Vincent Shtuka knocks on from the restart. The Ospreys had a chance to really hunt down that bonus point. They had a 5-meter maul shut down by the Sharks, so they don't get what they want. The Sharks have a line out in the Ospreys half, on 77, 78 minutes. They knock it on. The Sharks, man, they missed some chances, but the Ospreys get the win, and it clearly meant a lot to them. Jack Morgan, as I said, gets man of the match in his final season with the club. Possession finishes 54-46 to the Sharks. Territory 61-39 to the Sharks. Second half territory was 70-30, which is pretty flippin' lopsided. Run meters 517 to 276 to the Sharks. Clean breaks is 6-5 to the Sharks, but turnovers conceded is 21-9 to the Sharks. If you felt like they coughed up a lot of ball, they did. They absolutely did. Penalty count was only 8-6 against the Sharks, so both sides keeping it below double figures, strangely enough. The individuals, Smith, that's Ryan, the Aussie for the Ospreys, made 18 tackles. Emil Van Heerden made 14, won some lineouts, but yeah, bizarre game. Bizarre. I'm sorry. Mike Adamson, eh? The Ospreys are away to Cardiff, and the Sharks are away to Edinburgh in their next games. You guys let us know your thoughts. I'm off to have some breakfast. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.